child has been diagnosed with autism, what would be the first thing you would tell the parents to do?
The first thing is that they should throw away all their preconceived notions. That's why I'm big on what I call truthful diagnosis. Many mental health professionals, you see someone, and especially people who are called in as consultants, neurologists, developmental pediatrician, psychiatrists, they don't really know they don't know the family. They're having an interview or two or three, and they don't have a real rapport. So they're afraid to really tell the parent what the child has. So they'll say things, well, it's complicated, he's got a lot of issues, and they'll kind of name every symptom of the disorder of autism without labeling it autism. So then the parent, and they say he needs some help, see a psychologist. The parent comes into me, and they're telling me he's having social skill problems, he's having problems with his temperament, various things. The child comes to my office, and they're autistic, and it's very black and white. It's very clear to me, and no one has wanted to tell them that. And it puts me in an awkward position because all these other people have seen their child. And now if I tell them I think your child has autism, they look at me, well, no one else has said that, and they evaluated him. With tests and all.
Well, I see both sides of this. I see some kids who have some issues, but nothing major, end up going to a developmental center. They get paid a lot of money if they have the word autism or PDD put on it. I'm a little suspicious that one who makes the diagnosis usually is a master's in social work, not a Ph.D. developmental pediatrician. There's too much money in the town. I think the only way you make a diagnosis is have someone, an expert, who has nothing to gain with the therapy, independent of the place. And then you get a place that has a good physiotherapist, good speech pathologist, good occupational therapist under one umbrella and do the therapy correctly. So the parents bring the kid to that place. Then they're more effective because they have more time of the day, see more patients. And people should keep a little social network. This physiotherapist is very good at this. This occupant's good at this. Encourage people to do the right thing. You know something? That's the only way you're going to make progress. Is that correct?
Oh, I like your whole point of view about it. Of course, these diagnoses get misused all the time, and they plug into a certain system or a reimbursement pattern. But to go back, I agree with you. A group like Aspen, which is a really well-developed group, they got a lot of resources. That's where I ask a parent to turn to have support. And what I was saying is, I've seen amazing changes in kids who were labeled autistic, or even they say autistic spectrum. Had a young man came into my office last year. He was about 22 years old. I had seen him when he was 12. He was labeled autistic. He was just a different person. He outgrew it. I mean, is all I could say. He had some therapy with me. We had some good experiences together. But this was a change that he's girlfriends, friends. He's a personal trainer. He's not autistic.
I once had a kid brought to me from several miles away, labeled autistic, and told him to put in an institution many years ago. That's what he used to do with these kids. So the kid had an expressive language. He was trying to get me to do things, wasn't speaking. And then I looked into it a little more carefully. He didn't have autism. He had a thing called apraxia. Mm-hmm. And he needed a certain speech pathologist to speak.
Yes.
But unfortunately, he had difficulty. And it helped the kids greatly. Now, imagine you put a kid in an institution, this is years ago.
Yes.
Where the kids were acting all the same. You'll act like whatever around you.
Yes.
And that would have been a loss. The kid went on to go to college, and you can't look at everything because it don't speak, it doesn't quite communicate like you, and putting into this diagnosis. We're not saying it doesn't exist, but a lot of times maybe it's overzealous diagnosis. Is that correct?
Agreed. Very much agreed.
And remember this one rule: not speaking is an autism. Okay, if a kid's reaching out, if you look at a kid 4 months old, it's not social smile I look at. It's socialization of smile. That means he smiles at the parents, looking for the return gesture, looking for that social return. The kid smiles at the wall, smiles at the mother the same way. That isn't a social smile. Right. It's social reaching out for a gesture. Those kids are more healthy. And I've kept notes in my charts. And the ones I thought were at risk, they didn't even do that. Mm-hmm. They weren't upset at the parents to look at you and say, I love you, little Tato. Mm-hmm. So maybe we got to look and reevaluate what we mean by social issues. Sometimes you don't have to speak to socialize. Sometimes just a look and a handshake means the kid's trying to reach out. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, there's a point of view in psychology that they say that it's really 6 or 8 months. They call it the psychological birth of the child, where, as you say, now it matters who they're smiling at. Not even just another person, but the mother is more important than, say, the caretaker or the nanny or just the nurse or whatever.
I think parents should take their cell phones and put in the closet when they come home. Because don't text, do goo-goo gagas with your baby. Spend time and reach to the kid. If you don't have a kid around people interacting, you don't develop social skills, do you?
No. I know a gentleman whose daughter was premature, 2 months. And he and the wife would go to the hospital every night. She was in the premature, and he would sing to a child in an incubator, and the nurses one day noted it on the chart, and they actually kind of gathered together because they wanted to see this phenomena, because everyone was taking the attitude that the children are in incubators, and how could you even communicate? And they were also premature, but I know this gentleman who would sing to his baby.
And eventually, what you're doing is you're getting that socialization. You're not born with natural total social skills. You have to start to nurture it, add a little fertilizer to that little plant to grow into beautiful flowers.
Yes.
And look, the characteristic of a baby brought from an orphanage where they only fed the kid the first year, they don't have good social skills.
No.
And they have tremendous issues down the road. Is that correct?
Yes. I think it was Dr. Spitz who found that.
And if all you had to do is get some grandparents to go in that place, pick up the kid and sing to the kids and reach the kid, and they would thrive.
Yes.
They would thrive.
Right.